Hey guys, it's Eshani, aka Total Makeup Junkie 101. So today I have a video that I didn't think I was going to be doing because I honestly didn't think I was going to buy this palette. However, I bought it because it's kind of amazing and I wanted to let you guys know how kind of amazing this palette is. I'm basically just doing that thing where, you know, when you discover something so amazing and you feel like you just have to tell your best friend. It doesn't even matter what it is. It could literally be makeup, cleaning products, food, clothing. It doesn't matter what it is. If you find something amazing, you tell your best friends. So I found this palette and I just think it's kind of amazing. Now that I've hyped the living daylights out of it, this is the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. Like I said, I had no intentions of purchasing this when I first saw swatches online. Not that I had anything against it, I just haven't purchased anything from BH Cosmetics in years. And while this palette, I mean, the packaging is just absolutely gorgeous. The colors inside, oh my goodness, so pretty. But for some reason, I just wrote this palette off. I saw it and was like, yeah, there's just a bunch of like bright colors. That's cool. This has some really bright neon shadows, but there's also a good amount of wearable colors. But even the wearable colors aren't necessarily boring. There's some really unique wearable colors in here. So anyways, let's just start off the review. Let me get myself situated. I feel like I'm a little too excited for this video. Let's get situated. Let's talk about the packaging. The palette itself comes in a little slip cover like this, and then this is what it looks like. It's clearly inspired by Coachella. I mean, that's not even really like a question. It's Coachella inspired Weekend Festival, the Ferris wheel. I can get behind the packaging. I think it's really stunning. I think the colors are beautiful. The palette just magnets shut. It does have a mirror up here, and then you are getting 20 different eyeshadows. BH Cosmetics is known for being fairly affordable. This palette full price retails for $18. However, BH Cosmetics also runs sales all the time on their website, and I actually picked this palette up from Ulta. You can get select BH Cosmetics products from Ulta. I picked it up and used a 20% off Ulta coupon, so I got like $3 off of this. But regardless, even for $18, I still think it's still a good value. In terms of the color scheme of this palette, I'll say that there's not really a color scheme. It's got a lot of bright colors. However, if you kind of eliminate looking at the blues or the purple or like these really bright oranges, you can see there's a good amount of golds and bronzes as well. You're getting a bunch of warmth. I mean, most of these browns are very warm tone. There's a couple oranges, some rusty colors, but then you're also getting some cool tones. You're getting some teals, you're getting a blue. In terms of the textures that you're getting in this palette, you're getting 7 true matte colors, which would be this one, this one, this one, this one, and then we've got 5, 6, and 7. So those are your 7 mattes. This shade right up here, I would say, is almost like a satin finish. It's not metallic, but it's also not a true matte. This is your one kind of glittery foil shade, and then all of the rest of the colors are like a metallic finish. I can really appreciate that BH Cosmetics gave us some of these really bright, unusual colors in a matte finish, which is something we don't see a lot. Like this really bright matte teal, this matte purple, this matte orange. These are colors that oftentimes when they're in palettes, they tend to be a metallic or a glittery finish. And I like that they just removed all of that glitter and shimmer and gave us true pigmented color. Before I talk about pigmentation and texture of these shadows, let's just jump into full palette swatches so you guys can see for yourselves the pigmentation of this glorious palette. So here we have the first 2 rows of the palette swatch. From left to right, we have Trixie, Candy, Ultimate, Carnival, Escape, Hippie, Dippy, Wicked, Magical, and Boho. And then here we have the 3rd and 4th rows of the palette swatch. From left to right, we have Swag, Flash, Spirit, Solstice, Electric, Trance, Palooza, Neon, Euphoria, and Hipster. I'm gonna just make a quick note. I love that BH Cosmetics actually named these shadows. I feel like a lot of times in less expensive palettes, they don't give the shadows names, so I appreciate that these are all named. In terms of the pigmentation, as you guys probably saw in the swatches, these are crazy pigmented. Every single formula, whether it's a metallic or a matte, just has true punch, pop of pigment. The thing that actually convinced me to buy it is I was in my Ulta, I saw the display, and then I actually went ahead and just swatched a couple of these matte bright shades, thinking that they were gonna be stiff and chalky and just deliver like no color. When I stuck my finger in these, I was shocked to experience the buttery smooth formula combined with incredible pigmentation. I was just blown away. So I immediately grabbed it. I didn't even think twice after that. I actually have a couple of these blues on my eyes today on my lower lash line. Like you guys can see, they're bright, they're bold, they are in charge, they just shine. However, if you wanted to completely eliminate the cool blue colors, there are so many beautiful sunsetty, pinky, purple, orange shades as well. This palette would give you just the most beautiful sunset eye. In terms of the texture of these shadows, starting off with the matte shades, all of the mattes are insanely pigmented and I don't find them to be overly powdery either. If you go into them with a fluffy brush, they will kick up some powder, but they're not the most powdery shadows I've ever used by any means. In terms of the metallics, again, very, very beautiful, really creamy, easy to pick up with brushes. Sometimes metallic shadows are almost too dense and too foiled and it's hard to get a brush and like use it with the brush. I had no issues with these metallics. I've used them with fluffy brushes, I've used them with stiff brushes. They work both ways. In terms of the kind of glittery shade right here called Solstice, I prefer to use that with my finger. You could probably use it with a brush, but because it does have a little bit more of a flaky texture, it still delivers full color, full pigmentation. It's beautiful on the eyes, but I definitely think you'll get the most color payout and the least amount of fallout if you use this with your fingers. And speaking of fallout, like I said, I've used this palette a handful of times and I have not experienced an extreme amount of fallout. I feel like with bright or bold shades in general, depending on the brushes you use and your application technique, you're bound to get a little bit of fallout, but it was nothing crazy. It was nothing that was hard to remove or hard to clean up, which I have to say really, really impressed me. I think this palette is so good. Now, who is this palette not for? It's definitely not for someone who isn't comfortable wearing brighter colors. However, if you're mainly a neutral person, but you're maybe looking to dip your toe in some color, this might be a good way to go. It's inexpensive and it's fantastic quality, and the colors that are actually in here, I find them to be fairly unique in my collection, especially all bundled up into one palette. I definitely don't have a palette that I can think of off the top of my head that delivers unique, matte, brighter colors mixed in with some really wearable neutrals that all does work together. I know you might look at this palette and think that's just a bunch of random pops of color. There's no way you could put together a whole look just using this palette. And I mean, that depends on the kinds of eyeshadow looks you like, but I think you are given your staple matte colors, some really fun bright pops, and the colors all work really well together. This is probably one of the best $18, or I guess with my Ulta coupon, like $15 that I've spent on a palette in quite a while. It's really, really good. Now, finally, in terms of some housekeeping things regarding this palette, just wanted to let you know, BH Cosmetics claims this product to be cruelty-free. However, all BH Cosmetics palettes are made in China. I don't mind my makeup products being made in China as long as the price is reflective of that. Again, $18 for the amount of product you get and the quality of product you get is very, very fair. Each of these pans holds 1.1 grams of product, so that means that you are getting 22 grams of product total. That means that you're paying 82 cents per gram for the products in this palette, which is honestly a steal. Anything below $1 a gram is a really, really, really good deal. And I did that calculation saying that you were paying a full price of $18 for this palette. If you happen to get it on sale, obviously your price per gram is gonna be even lower than that. So there we have it. Those are all of my thoughts on the new BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. Please let me know if this palette is on your wish list or if you've already tried it. Do you love it as much as I do? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so, so much for watching, supporting, and subscribing. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video on Thursday. I'll see you then. Bye!